Guys, welcome back. Today we'll be taking a look at the move, the invert walk. Now, if you have a good invert, this will look awesome and actually can give you the airflare. So it's actually kind of a tutorial on a way to get airflare. But what you obviously need is a very good invert. And sadly, my invert is total garbage. So let me show you mine, which I never really practice also, but to be fair, but you know, it's really not my move at all. But when I would do an invert, because I know how to do it obviously, all you have to do is enter like you do a handstand, push your head through your body and collapse your legs as deep as you can. But because I'm so shitty at this move, it won't look that great, right? But something like this, right? You push your head through and try to collapse your legs. So when I do it, obviously my legs are not collapsed. I'm also not very deep through. So the way you practice is normally you stretch that shit against the wall, put your butt against the wall and stretch it. Fun fact, females awesome at this move. I only met 2 females in my whole career as a teacher that couldn't do it. All the other ones that were practicing against the wall got it quite easily. So it's naturally in their system. This means that they can also easily learn the airflare walk or invert walk, right? So how does that work? Well, when you pause an airflare in the air, you see someone that obviously going to do good airflare, and you pause that shit, you will see sort of the invert position. This means that if you can step in and out of inverts, you can learn the airflare. You simply later, as you can walk it, you add the hop to it, right? So how does that work? Well, because my invert is so bad, mine won't look good. But what you try to do is actually, you don't necessarily need to know like flare and windmill for this one. We're simply going to do the walk. We're not really going to throw an airflare. But you want to have control of your hands, right? Get a good handstand. Obviously, doesn't hurt. Very solid in your inverts, right? And maybe work a little bit on, you know, some freezes right here and some pike freezes and all that crap, because obviously all that shit works. So once we understand all that concept, let me explain how to do the invert walk, aka the airflare walk. To do that, you will simply enter with one hand to the side like this, and you will lean off your arm. So you make sure you're on top of your arm, or even lean a little bit over it. Then you will lift your hand as high as you can in the air and preferably keep it straight. Now, as we are here, what we try to do is lean over and step as deep as we can into an invert. So as you have a very deep invert, unlike mine, you can step very deep and actually stay horizontal. And that's a gateway to getting actually a horizontal airflare that you can walk it, which is awesome. So for the girls, you know, this is your move, man. Try it this way and you can actually get airflares. So when I do it, it don't look good at all. Hey, my invert is shit and my invert walk is even worse, right? But trust me on this. If you get a good invert, start working on this, because it's a very cool move even without transitioning into an airflare, right? So when I do it, like I said, it's not look good, but bear with me, right? So all I will do is, as I enter sort of a angled handstand, or simply work a little bit on that palm of entrance, right? You need to have it anyway. You will lean over the arm. Try to do this not too fast, right? So you don't fly all over the place. Lift your arm up, but instead of placing your hand down, back into a handstand, something like that, or try to throw over like an airflare, you will simply try to step into an invert. That's your goal. And from that step invert, you will also step and lean over the other arm back into an angled handstand or planche position, right? So when you do that, it should look, well, better than mine, but it should look something like this. So you enter into an invert and out. That's your goal. So again, out. So when I do it, it looks really, really shitty, but trust me on this, if you got a good and deep and really good collapsed invert, it will look pretty fucking sick. Now, once you have this down, and you can do this multiple times in a row, so you start walking into invert, step, walking into invert, step. You can actually simply add hop to it, right? And especially if you have a very deep and collapsed invert, you can simply add pump with the legs to it, because your legs are supposed to be already all the way collapsed onto your body. So you simply add a hand-up technique to it to make a small hop to the other hand as you have it solidly down. Also, I really prefer you don't lean around the arm, but more over. Once you get this concept down, it's really not that hard of a move to do. In itself, you can simply see this as a walking airflare, right? Now, when you can walk something, you simply add hop to it, like I said, and you will get the air flare. Obviously, for me, it would, well, I can do this, but it's really not my way at all, right? And it doesn't look good at all, but trust me, with a good invert, you can easily do it. So let me try to throw a little bit better one, right, where I do it a little bit better and with a little bit more force also. So it would look like this. Right, so you see sort of me trying to step into an invert, probably because I'm not good at invert. My actual landing in the move is here, right? But with a deep invert, you're landing actually over the chest. So you will be throwing like that, and because you push your head out of your body, you get that horizontal position, which is really, really awesome. If you can do it in itself, this is a sick move. You obviously don't have to keep your legs like this. You can swing them, you can kick them, or you can actually take different positions here, which is also an awesome concept. So for the people with a good invert, I really suggest you do this. One last word on this. Well, try to maybe think of the one arm invert. I know this sounds really hard, but it really isn't. It's just actually sort of a way to do a pike freeze, right? So when you do a pike freeze, you can, for instance, push your body away. Or you can, for instance, stay in a handstand position while your legs collapse, right? But you can also actually push your body similar to an invert, basically, like this, while you do a pike freeze. So when you do that, for me, I'm right-handed first. So what I will do as I enter the same technique, push the invert like that, step over into the invert and push the invert on the other hand, on one hand. So you get a really nice and clean position. Obviously, this is not my way at all. I throw totally different. I use totally different technique for the airflare. Back in the day, kind of did this in between my combos when I still had more flexibility and shit. And I still used my old way of doing airflare, right? So it did work for me, but probably best to look at someone with a good invert using this technique. I think from Brazil there's a b-boy called, I think it's called Super Sano, and he has this really, really awesome, right? You can basically just walk horizontal airflares. So maybe cool to check him out, or in general, check any airflare out and pause it in the air to see that they're actually walking invert, guys. But yeah, that's the whole thing. Once you can walk it, well, pretty much, of course, to do clean and good airflares, it might still be a struggle, but it's a really little struggle, because all you have to learn is to add hop to it. Instead of, oh, I'm already flying over, but I still have to learn how to land it, right? Because that's the real struggle with airflare. So, guys, check again. I'll try to do it one more time, and that's actually it. So from here, step into invert. Step into invert, right? So mine is, yeah, that's the problem here, because I'm teaching, but I'm not good at this move. But yet again, with a good invert, you can easily do this. See you next time.